Hi everyone. It's so nice to see you all in this chilling Sunday evening. We happily welcome all of you to Git Init, the second event proudly organized by Free and Open Source Software Community in University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Firstly, with immense pleasure, I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Ahmed Safnaj, a GitHub campus expert, a speaker, an open source enthusiast, a full stack developer. And next, our beloved participants who are excited and enthusiastic to expand their knowledge and their possibilities to ease and level up their projects even smarter with GitHub. Have you already taken your tea? If not, go get your cup of tea with some snacks and biscuits. Because trust me, this event is not going to be hectic, boring, or ordinary. This evening is going to be so much interesting and exciting with so many new things to learn. We are not only going to give you knowledge, but also we're going to check them with a small quiz competition. And guess what? Winners are going to be get rewarded with a cool GitHub t-shirt. Quite interesting, huh? Before getting into the event, I hope all of you have already installed Git and created a GitHub account into your PCs and laptops with the help of the instructions we have provided you. And also, while the event is happening, if any question raised in your mind, what you have to do is you can write a question in the chat box, or if you wish to speak, you can raise your hands, and when the speaker lets you, you can go ahead with your questions. And also, if you're not talking, please be kind enough to keep your mic muted. Okay, then without wasting your valuable time anymore, let's go to the event. I hope Mr. Ahmed is now ready to take over the meeting.
Very good evening, everyone. So thanks for the warm welcome and the great invite. So Git in it. Today we are going to talk about Git and GitHub. And first of all, kudos to the organizers who are work behind this event. You know, even during this pandemic, you guys are trying to contribute to your community. That should be appreciable, right? And also, I saw your last select event, which is fantastic. Um, okay, so today I will be talking about Git and GitHub as your version controller. So if there are anyone who familiar with these technologies, that is good. You can learn something more today. And if you are very beginner, you guys are in the right place because I'm going to cover this topic from very beginner friendly. So let's get started. Before going to the session, let me introduce myself first. I'm Safnaj. I'm a final year undergraduate at SLWIT. Almost I completed my degree. I'm about to graduate. And I'm being as the president of FOSS Community. And I am the Sri Lanka's 5th GitHub campus expert. Also, I'm working at Virtusa, and these are some other communities that I represent. So if you guys have any questions or if you guys want to get connected with me, you can use this my social handles. So as you guys have noticed, someone have mentioned as GitHub campus experts, right? So you guys have some questions on your mind. Who are GitHub campus expert actually? So let me give you a small introduction about GitHub campus expert program. So GitHub have a subdivision called GitHub Educations, where they empower students and teachers and universities. So GitHub Campus Experts is one of the main program of GitHub Educations. It's not only about promoting Git and GitHub. It's all about building students communities, right? So when it comes to IT industry, it's all about helping each other and building communities. So uh, let's say if you are a campus expert and you want to host an event at your university, you can ask GitHub for some sponsorships and some resources, and it's very valuable for your community. Most of the people say like it's promoting GitHub only. So it's not like that. At our university, we have conducted Google events by getting sponsorship from GitHub. So it doesn't matter which technology is. If you are willing to share your knowledge or if you are willing to help others, GitHub will support you. And here there's a URL. You can visit and explore more about GitHub Campus Expert program. So currently we have 7 GitHub campus expert for Sri Lanka. So we have Isuru from Sabragamo and Moratua, IIT, SLWIT, and Ruhuna. So we guys have formed a community called GitHub Community Sri Lanka to organize some big events and to help you to help other universities who doesn't have a campus expert. So we want more campus expert for our country, right? So if you take country like India, there are more than 25 or 30 campus experts are there. um, so you can use our social handles of our community. You will get latest updates about GitHub and our upcoming events in the future. And the GitHub Campus Expert program is now open, and they're calling applications till February 31st. If anyone want to become a campus expert, go ahead and apply. And we have to complete a training after that once you get selected. So good luck, and that's our request from our community side. So let me remind you the hashtags for this today's event. So GitHub Education is active on Twitter. So if you guys are tweeting about this event, or if you guys are posting about this event on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, make sure to use these hashtags and tag our community or myself. Let GitHub Education knows that there are an amazing event going on Sri Lanka. So first of all, I should ask sorry to you all of you guys, because when it's come to GitHub event, we never miss to give a lot of swags for the participants. Not only the stickers, we have some educational materials and a lot of gifts. So this time, since it's a online event, I couldn't brought some physical swags for you, but I have some prizes for the quiz winners. So make sure you be until the end of this event. So let's come to this topic, version control system. Does anyone heard about this version control system, or anyone familiar with this? You can unmute and speak, because I would like to have this session in a more interactive way. I'm not an elder guy, so don't hesitate to ask questions from me. Maybe we are from same age group people. So that's okay. I'm acceptable if you can speak up in this event. So anyone familiar with this version control system? Okay, let's see what is version control system. So it's a version control system that records changes to a file or set of files over time, so that you can recall specific versions later. So this is the definition that I found from Google. As usual, it's a bit complex to understand, right? As students, we had definitions. I know. So one of my campus expert, Dilum, he wrote his own definition in a simpler way. Full local history of changes made. It's quite understandable, right? So whatever the changes you made to your project, it will be tracked. That is simple. So let's see why we need version control system. So the first key point is history. So remembering what changed over time, or who worked on what and when. So let's say how you guys are doing your academic projects. How many of you second year or third year projects have completed? How did you worked on that project? You can answer in the chat box, that's fine. You have to interact with me, because it's an online event. I can't see who listened to me, or you guys are just joined and left the premises. I have to confirm that there are someone listening to me. So I appreciate you if you can answer in the chat box, that's also fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's say we are building a project. So in IT, we are building software projects. One day it will work, one day due to some another issues it might not work, right? So if you want to get back to a particular working version, so what you can do, one option you can undo, but if you close the IDE or if you restarted your computer, you can't perform undo operations, right? So by using version control system, you have entire tracking of your projects. So if you want to go back to any particular versions, it's possible in VCS. And the second key point is backup. So keep copies of your work in multiple places to avoid losing it, and avoids to say my hard disk got crashed, right? So what we do in our academic projects is till the day before the presentation, so everyone will give a your work to your group leader via a USB, and he have to spend a whole night to integrate the project, right? That's how I did when I was in first year. And if some groups fail to make the projects, they come and say in the presentation that our hard disk got crashed and my system got crashed. So uh, by using this VCS, you can have a proper backup of your project, right? It is okay to accept those kind of excuses in academic projects, but when it comes to industry, you can't say these kind of excuses, right? So they will fire you from the company. And the third important point is collaborations. So if you want to work with multiple developers on a single project, um, by using this VCS, you can easily track your projects and easily work with multiple developers. So it's give you freedom to work with multiple people on the same project. So let's see what are the types of VCS. There are three types of VCS. So the first one is local version control system. So this is the earliest VCS system which was available in past days. So the major drawback here is this system runs fully locally. That means it does not require internet connection. So everything will be on your PC. You will be having the history, but if something happened to your PC, you will lose your entire source code, and you can't collaborate with other developers to work on a group project on this local VCS. And second, centralized VCS system. So this have a main server. There is a centralized server that contains all the history and your project source codes. um, but the major drawback here is everything stores in the main server. If something happened to this server, you will having the project on your each collaborator's PC, but your source code history are saving on the server. So if your server is got crashed, you will lose your entire source code history. You can't go back, or you can't redirect back to any versions if you want to get back on some particular changes. So uh, finally, the distributed version control system came to this picture. This not rely on a single server. In distributed VCS, you will be having your source code history from your PC and as well as in the main server. So here you don't need to be connected to the internet all the time. You just have the internet connections to push your source code and pull the changes. We will see what are these term words called push and pull. Um, yeah, that's all about the version control system types. And let's see what is GIT. So Git is a distributed version control system. As we see the three types of version control system. So Git is a distributed version control system. So it tracks our source code changes as snapshots. So it's a tool where we need to install it on our PC. I hope you all guys have installed this on your PC. And this tool is the guy who track your source code changes and connected to the GitHub. And it's lightweight and very fast. I think it's not more than 40 MB or 60 MB, but it is very powerful. This tool is free and open source. So the source code of this Git is publicly available on GitHub. If you have any, if you found any issues, you can create issues on GitHub, and if you want to contribute, if you want to add something, you can even do that. And this is designed to handle everything from very small projects to very large projects. So when it comes to industry, most of the companies are, I think, using Git. There are some alternative tools also called SVN, Tortoise Git, but Git is the king among other products. So let's see, there are three types of stages in Git workflow. So one is the working directory, staging area, and the repository. So working directories means that your local PC where you build your project. So the second thing is staging area. That's also in your PC. That's a remote server called. Once you've done your changes or when you have done your development, you have to stage those changes before you update the changes to the GitHub. That's called the repository here. So let's see how you can work with multiple developers. Let's say uh, there are two developers called developer A and developer B. So we have a centralized remote repository. That's imagine that that's a GitHub. And once you initialize the repository from GitHub, developer A is cloning the project from to his PC, and he do some modifications, or he adding some features. Once he is done with his work, he is pushing his changes to the remote repository. So the developer B can pull the changes that developer A has committed, and he can continue his work. And Git branches is the key important topic in Git. So branches means it's allow you to diverge from the main line and continue to work separately without messing with the main line. So if you guys are working on a single project, you will be having some problems when you trying to integrate the project. Like if you want to merge the changes or merge the pull requests, you sometimes you will get conflicts. Let's say same two developers worked on the same file and the same number of same line of code. So GitHub will confused, and it will ask you to resolve those conflicts. So to avoid that, we using branches. I will explain this in a bit in next slide. It's simply a folder that contains commits. Commits means different stages of your code, right? So if you are committing today, and if you are committing tomorrow, those your commit have a particular ID for your commits, and it's kind of stages of your source code workflow. And once the branch creates, the whole main code from the main branch gets copied to the newly created branch. So at the moment when you create a branch, so your main branch will give the current changes to a new branch. So someone want to develop a new feature, he can continue on a separate track without missing the main branch. So as you can see in this image, let's say by default, if you create a project on GitHub or Git, by default you will be getting a branch created called master. That is the default branch. So let's say two developers or three developers working on a project. So in 0.1 versions, you have to let's say your project manager is asking you to develop a login feature, and he's saying that another developer is working on a registration feature. So here you are creating a branch from that master branch to develop that login feature. So the second developer, he can continue to work on his user registration feature. So once you have completed your feature, you can send a pull request to the main branch. Let's say hey, I have completed my feature, please review my changes and merge with the main branch. So once they merge, it will become a whole product. So our process is very simple. There are only three stages that we have to get familiar with. Once we're done with our changes, we have to add those changes. That's the first step. Then we have to commit. We have to give a commit message. Let's say what you have done. I completed login feature with validations. Then you have to push your changes to the repository. So let's see what is GitHub. As I informed, we ask you all to create a GitHub account, right? So how many of you create? If anyone here without having a GitHub account, while I'm moving forward, you can go ahead and create a GitHub account. It's free, so go ahead and create. Make sure you remember your password, right? So let's see what is GitHub. It's an online platform that hosts repositories along with their corresponding Git history. So GitHub is not actually a tool. It's a like imagine like a G drive. In G drive, what do you guys put? You guys put documents, videos, audios, right? So GitHub is similar kind of online platform where you can host your projects along with your source code history. GitHub lets you and others work together on same projects. So GitHub is playing major role when it comes to a collaborative project. So um, it allows you to work on a single project with multiple developers. And GitHub was acquired by Microsoft in 2018 for 7.5 billion. So GitHub was founded by Ned Friedman and it was acquired by Microsoft. It's now a Microsoft partnered company. And in GitHub, there are over 100 million repositories, both public and private repositories are there. So let's see why we need GitHub. GitHub make version control easier. So since the Git is a tool and it's a CLI tool, right? So we are adapted to work with the graphical user interface, right? So since Git is a terminal bash, so we want some GUI to have a proper understanding of our workflow. So GitHub have a very user friendly interfaces where you can completely understand your workflow, and it's very initiative. It removes the headaches of combining or sharing the large code files. So in GitHub, there are no any size limits for you. You can host more than any size of projects that you have. uh, and GitHub have a very powerful community. If you have any questions or if you get stuck with some issues, you can reach GitHub anytime, or there are already a lot of questions are answered on Stack Overflow. So it have very larger community support. So GitHub is the #1 developer platform on the planet. There are some alternative repository hosting providers also there, but after the acquisition of Microsoft, GitHub becomes even more powerful. Now it has more than 40 million of active users in GitHub, and over 100 million of private and public repositories, and it's getting 1 billion plus contributions per year. As you can see in this slide, some very big companies also using GitHub, right? JetBrains, Netflix, Spotify, and there are some open source projects which is very famous: Angular, Docker, Kubernetes. Those also available on GitHub. Excuse me. So if you want to contribute to this open source project, even you can do that on GitHub. So GitHub is not only a source code hosting provider, it's a complete ecosystem for developers. So um, GitHub introducing new features every year. They have a static web hosting feature for free, where you can host your static websites for free on GitHub pages, and you can use GitHub for even project management. I will show our FOSS website workflow, where you can understand how you can have a proper timeline for your project. And we are not using Trello boards for our project management. GitHub have that feature as well. And container image hosting, this feature was introduced last year. Previously we have Docker Hub to host container images. Now GitHub also supports container image hosting and package registry management. So let's say if you guys are building an npm package or React package, you can even publish it directly from GitHub account. And the very cool feature from GitHub is GitHub Actions. Anyone heard about this GitHub Actions, which is used for CI/CD? So can anyone tell the meaning of CI/CD? You can put in the chat box. I won't answer for this to continue, because I don't know, because you guys are listening here or not. Okay. See, I got an answer in the chat box. So others, please. I want 5 people to answer at least. Yeah, Mahfouz, right answer. Sajid, Rodrigo. Okay. So CI/CD means continuous integrations and continuous deployment. So which will automate your process and integration process and test process. You can deploy, you can perform automation deploy directly from your GitHub repository. And finally, GitHub is also provides testing and security feature. Let's say uh, there are some third-party testing services available in the GitHub marketplace. You can, if you have a subscriptions, you can easily integrate with your repository, and you can do your project testing as well. And when it comes to security, GitHub provides you a free security alerts. Let's say if you are working on Angular projects, and when it comes to Angular, you have to have a lot of npm packages, right? So if you are using an outdated npm package, GitHub will be automatically notify you if there are any new updates, and you can easily update that particular npm package by merging the depend about pull request. So these are the key GitHub terms that we used in the industry. um, let's see it on a demo. So it's time to go a GitHub tour, right? Let me take you all to the GitHub. How many of you see this homepage of GitHub? How many of you logged in? So see, this is the homepage of GitHub once you logged into your account. So it's kind of a Facebook feed, right? So what you can see here is if you are following a person from in GitHub, let's say uh, I'm following some of my friends and some of the open source enthusiasts. So if they started a project on their GitHub, I can see that here. So my friend is initiated a project 4 days ago. So I can see his projects, and if I want to contribute to his projects, I can do that. So it's kind of a Facebook feed where you will get your followers, project initiations here. And if someone found a good repository in GitHub, and if they start that one, also you will get notified here. So you can look that projects as well. And this left sidebar is for a quick access. Your hot repositories will be available here. And if you go to your profile, you can see like this, something like this, right? So this is a new feature that which is GitHub introduced a couple of months ago. If you create a README file same as your GitHub username, you can add some animations, you can add some styles to create a beautiful GitHub account. And here, a pinned area, this is a place where you can let's say if you have more than 100 repositories, but you have very best few projects, you can showcase those in this area. And also it's used to um, identify best projects here. Let's say if I'm applying for a full stack developer positions, so I have to come and pin some of my full stack projects here. So when the recruiters are looking at my GitHub account, they can easily access to my full stack projects here. Make sure you have to pin your best project here. And this is a contributions graph that you can see in these green dots. Each box represent each day. So if you contribute uh, every day, you will get a entire green box here. If you not contributing at all, you will get this gray box full of your contributions graph. And here, this is your activity area. If you create an issue, or if you are sending a pull request to another projects, you can easily access those things here. And some of the personal informations. Here it's some of the badges that I gained from GitHub Pro badge, GitHub Campus Expert, and Developer Program Member. So these are some organizations that I'm being a part of in GitHub platform. So in repository sections, it will list down all the repositories that you have on GitHub. Uh, and this is similar to repositories. Let's say if you have any npm packages or docker images, it will appear here. Since I don't have any npm package or docker, it's blank for me now. So let's go back to my presentation. uh, it's demo. Let's see this GitHub workflow in a demo, right? We used to provide this GitHub cheat sheet during our events. So I can give me a minute. I have shared the link of the GitHub cheat sheet on the chat box. You can check that one. um, since it's an online event that it's so much difficult you to watch on a single monitor and perform the demo, right? So let's go through the important codes that we have to use and then go to a actual demo, right? So once you install git bash on your PC, you have to configure your account there. So this is the command that you have to use: git config dash dash global user.name, and within the quotations you have to provide your GitHub username. Same as that, you have to provide your email to get started with your Git workflow. So there are two ways to initiate a GitHub project. So one method is you can initiate a GitHub project from your local PC, and then after that you can create a repository from GitHub and you can connect those using a remote URL. The second option is the first step. As a first step, you have to create a GitHub repository in GitHub and then clone it to your local PC and you continue your work. Personally, I used to do in a second options. We will follow that one as well today. So making commits. These are the commands that used to make commits. So git add is a command where we can state the changes. So if you want to add a particular one single file, you have to provide the file name. And let's say if you have worked on multiple dependencies, multiple files on the same time, you can add everything at once using a dot. So git add space dot command is used to add all our changes to the staging area. Then we have to provide a commit message which should be meaningful. It will easier to understand what we have done on that particular commit. If you are working on a group projects, others can easily see what you have done on that particular commit, right? So git commit dash m, within the quotations you have to provide the your commit message. So updating repositories. uh, if you are initiating a project from your local PC, you have to have one more steps here, that is adding your remote URL to this local repository. So we are not doing that way here. So these are the two commands that you have to remember: git push to push your local changes to your GitHub account, and git pull to get the latest changes from your local PC. And folks, let's see what is fork. Fork is a copy of a repository. It allows us to freely experiment with changes without affecting the original repository. Let's say you found a good project on GitHub and you want to add some features, or you want to modify some UI. So without directly affecting that main project, even you can't do that if you are not a collaborator of a GitHub repository. So what you can do in that kind of scenario is, if it is a public repository, you can fork that one to your account and you can experiment new things. You can do UI changes, you can add some new features to experiment, and you can even run that project for yourself only. Let's say some of the famous tool uh, product that we are using is VLC Media Player, right? So if you want VLC Media Player along with your name, you can even get that source code completely from GitHub and you can modify and you can run it on your PC. So after forking a repo, what you have to do, it's again that three simple steps. So after you forked someone else's repository to your account, you have to clone that to your PC, then do the changes, commit, push, and the final step is sending a pull request to the actual main project. Like, let's say if you forked from Angular project, once you're done with your changes, you have to send that changes to the main project, right? That is called pull request here. Yeah, again, making pull request, we shortly call PRs. So after editing a fork, having made changes that are ready to be integrated into the original code, it's time to make pull request. So once you send a pull request to the project, the collaborators or the reviewers can review your pull request. If there are any changes, they will ask you to do, and if it is good to go, they will perform some testing and they will merge your PR along with their main project. Okay, let's see all these in action. So I want you to hands to on keyboard. I guess it's much difficult by watching the video on a single monitor and performing the tutorials. Um, if it is difficult for you, just watch it carefully and experiment it later, right after the event. And you have to send me some pull request to the repository that I'm going to create. So to create GitHub repository, uh, you have to come here and click this plus icon and create new repository. And if you have any, this is also a new feature. If you have any boilerplates, or if you have any particular templates that you used to follow, you can even choose that one. So you have to give a unique repository name for your account. Let me put git sorry GitHub event USJ, a demo project for University of Sri USJ GitHub event. So here we have two options. One is public and private. Um, in previous days, you can't have more than 3 private repositories on a free GitHub account. Now, but after the Microsoft acquisitions, you can have any number of private repositories. Let's say if you are building for a project for a client, you can't have that source code on a public mode, right? So everyone can access that. They can sell your same product to the clients, right? So in those kind of scenarios, you can go for private mode. So since I'm an open source enthusiast, I would like to go with public repositories. So I'm choosing public here and adding a README. So README is a markdown file which come along with this .md extensions, which I will explain it. And GIT not don't need, choose a license, not needed at the moment. Now you have to click create repository to, yeah, okay. Now our repository is created, right? um, Now what you can do is, as I say, this is the readme file that we have created. If you guys are if you want to add some documentations or contributions guidelines to your projects, you have to use this readme.md file to describe how others have to contribute, what are the steps that they have to follow. So readme files, that markdown files, are used to um, describe about your project. So now you have to clone this project to your PC, right? Here if you click this green button, here you have three options to clone your project to your PC. One option is you can download it as a zip. I never did that one. And if you are using a private or a secure project, you can do that via SSH channel. And if you are using a GitHub CLI, it's a new command line tool from GitHub, so you can copy this URL. So we all are using Git, right? So I can go with this HTTPS. So I'm copying this link, and it's time to open our terminal. uh, can you see the text? It's not. Can you see my terminal now?
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, can you see the font size is fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Desktop. So I'm using Mac, so I am using inbuilt terminal here. So it's same as the command prompt that we have on Windows. So I hope you all have Windows and Linux or Mac. So if you are using Mac, you can perform this on a terminal. And if you have installed Git Bash on your PC, your CMD will be connected to this Git Bash, and you can perform this commands on your CMD. Or if you right click on your Explorer or desktop, you will get an options called git bash here. So you can click that one also to perform these things. So now I have to clone the repository that I have created on GitHub. So the command that we saw is git clone is used to clone our repository from GitHub, right? So git clone and the repository URL that I have copied. If I press enter, it's getting cloning to my local PC, right? So if I go to my desktop, yeah, here you can see GitHub even USJ, the repository that we have created from GitHub, and the README file. So let's change something on this README file. Oh wait, its code is open. Give me a minute. Right. Okay. Open with some text editor. Okay, I am adding my name. Add your names, and I'm adding my name here, and I'm saving this. So I have made a changes to this README file, right? Now you can now you have to come inside the repository that you have cloned. Now I have in the repository folder, you can see the master name as here. I'm using a third-party extension called for the Git extension. So it will show the branch names here. So inside my repository, let's say what I have done, git status. So here you can see your branch is up to date with main branch. Okay, clear git add all. So I am adding again the file because I have made some changes to it. So I have added the file now. Now I have to put a commit message. File modified. Okay, now you can see an alert from this git bash, one file changed, 4 insertions. So we have changed one file now. Now we have to update our changes to our GitHub repository, right? So the command is git push, as simple. Right after I perform this command called git push, as you can see, 100% done compressing and updating to this URL, main branch to main branch, right? So now let me go back to the GitHub repository and refresh the page. Here you can see the name that I have added from my local project, right? So this is how you have to push your changes from your local PC to your GitHub repository. um, Second thing is, let me, what did I missed? Okay, and let's say if you are working on working with multiple developers, you can come to this place to create branch, so they can work on their branch without messing the main branch. Then right after he pushing to his particular branch, he can send pull request from his feature branch to the main branch. When after that, the group leader or the team lead can review his changes and merge with this main branch. So let's see, this is the workflow that describes how you can work on a single project, how you can push your changes to GitHub account. Let's see if it is a someone else project. Let's say if you found a good projects from my account, if you want to contribute that one, you can't do that basically, because you the first rule is you have to be a collaborator. Then only you will get direct access. Let's say GitHub user finder applications, you can't directly clone you can clone this project, and you can do some modifications, you can perform some UI changes to play around with my project, but you can't directly push to my um, particular projects, because you have to be authorized user, because else you won't get access to direct push or pull operations from my GitHub repository. So what I have to do is I have to add some of you, the second collaborator, from this project settings. You once you come to your project, then settings, then you have to manage go to manage access, have to give my password again. So I can invite a collaborator here. So once I invite a collaborator by typing his GitHub username or uh, by putting his email, he will get a email invitations to work on this project. Then he will get access to this to perform pull and push operations for this repository. So if you are not a collaborator but you like to contribute to these projects, what you can do, as we saw in this slide, we have to fork that repository from their account to your account, right? So this is my repository now. So I am going to contribute to this project from a different account. So let me show you how to do that. Here you can see a button called fork, right? So you have to click that one, and I have some organizations. So it's asking me to fork from which account. So I am putting our GitHub Campus Expert organization. So now it's forking my repository to this account. Okay, it's done. So as you can see here, now the repository is owned by GitHub Experts LK and the same repository name. But here you can see fork from Safnaj, GitHub even USJ. Now this is the project of GitHub organizations, which is forked from my account. Now what they have to do, same again, they have to clone this to the local PC and they have to uh, add some modifications. Let's say I am cloning this again. Terminal directory new, sorry, make directory new, cd desktop cd new. Okay, now I am cloning that. Did I copy this link? Okay, same step that as we did in the first method. Now once you copy this HTTPS URL, you have to clone this project to your local PC. Now I have to go inside that project. I'm in a main branch. So it's a new directory, GitHub given with text edit. So I'm adding another name, USJ first president name, Naresh. I'm saving this. Now I have made some changes. So what is the step that I have to perform now? So can someone tell what the command that I have to use here? Use chat box or unmute yourself and answer. Yeah, Chatushka. Yeah, it's a correct answer, Johan. Okay, so git add is the command that we have to use. So we can provide the file name. I used to provide this dot to add all the files at once. So now I have added. Now we have to put commit message, git commit, Naresh name added. Okay, it's now we are ready to push. Git push. Okay, now the changes that we have made, it's updated to our GitHub account. Okay, I forgot to give a line break. It's okay, it's updated, right? Naresh name is now available at this repository. Give me a second. So now what we have to do, we have made the changes in the repository that we forked from the my account. So now you have to add these changes to the main projects of mine. So in these situations, uh, what you can do is sending pull request. So this is the repository they have created. Someone have forked my repository and they have added a new name. Now they want to merge these changes to this main project. So here what they have to do is sending a pull request. Here you can see a tab called pull request. Okay, and click new pull request. Here you can see from where to where. This is the from place and this is the to place, from this account to this account. If you have any separate, if you are working on multiple branches, you can even choose the branch here. Now you can see GitHub. This is why everyone says GitHub is a very good tool to visualize our changes in a GUI way. Right here you can see this is the changes that I have added. So this is highlighted in a green color. Now you can create the pull request. You have to provide a meaningful name. It's already there, narration name added. I have added a new name. It's a descriptions that you have. Let's say if you have sending a multiple changes on via a single pull request, you have to list down what the changes you have done to that project. So it will easier to understand the changes that what you have done from the original code owner. Okay, now we are good to go. Create pull request. Okay, so if I'm coming back to my project that I have created, refreshing this, and here you can see one pull request is here. So if I go here and I can see 17 seconds ago there was a pull request open, and here I can see what is the commit message that, sorry, the description that I have provided, right? And I can see the commits. Your commit messages will be appear here. If you have multiple commits, you can see what the changes have made it on a particular commit, and file change. So here one, so we have changed this one file by adding these names. So here I can review that one here. I can provide comment or if I have any changes, I can click this one and request changes to that pull request sender. Now I am approving. Okay, let me, sorry, give you a comment. Thanks. And I'm submitting my review. Okay, now I can merge the pull request. Confirm merge. Okay, now the pull request is got merged. So if you go back to the repository, now you can see the changes that we made from from the GitHub community account to it's came to my account, right? So this is how we can contribute to someone else's project by adding changes. So as I said earlier, it's difficult to watch this event on real-time video and performing the practicing the tutorials in real. So it's much difficult, as I know. So I want you all to fork this project. Right after this event, you have to fork this project and add your name. So create some new README files and send the pull request to me, so that I can happily satisfy that I have taught something to you today. So I guess someone else also forked this repository. Here we can see two forks. So I request all you to fork this repository and add something and send me a pull request. Okay. Okay, let me go back to my slide. So it's time for the quiz. I guys are ready to begin with the quiz. I want some messages to start the quiz in the chat box. Second question is live now. You can answer. 6 seconds. It's a syntax-based question, right? So the correct answer is git commit -m. Within the quotation, you have to provide the commit message. So the third question is, which is the correct command used to create new local branches? Okay. Oh my God. The correct answer is git branch and the branch name. Let's go to the fourth question. What is the name of static web hosting service from GitHub? GitHub Actions, GitHub Packages, GitHub Static, GitHub Pages. Take a screenshot. Okay, the correct answer is GitHub Pages. Only 52% of people have answered correctly. We have 64. Okay, this is the final questions, I guess. In which year GitHub was acquired by Microsoft? 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Excuse me. So the correct answer is 2018. Let's see who are the winners. Chanaka Sandurvan got 5 out of 5 in 38 seconds. Kalana Madhushankar. As we discussed, the first two persons who answered in a short period of time will be considered as the winners. I congratulate all others who got 5 out of 5 and 4 out of 5. You guys have to. I'm congratulating you all as well. But since we have limited prize, we have two winners for today. So both Janaka and Kalana, you have to verify your student ID to this FOSS President Naresh, and you can ask him for this coupon code. What you have to do is you have to go to this URL github.myshopify.com, and you can pick any t-shirts and select your size and apply the promo code that you are getting. So it will be 100% discount for you. So thanks for all for joining this quiz, and it's pleasure, right? Okay, congratulations again. Here again the URL github.myshopify.com. I can copy. Also, I shared this URL on the chat box. You can check that one. So, not that all. We have one more thing, like Apple event. So, even though I have brought only two gifts for you, two prizes for you. I brought a gift for you all because you have invited me in a very pleasant way. I have brought a very surprising gift for you all. Can you guess the value of it? So I won't answer for that. Like you can say in dollars or you can say in Sri Lankan rupees, the value of or worth of the price that I have brought for you. No, I want some more answers. $100? No. $25? It's cheap. Sorry. 1,000? More. Oh my God. No. $250? $500? Okay. No. It is more than $200,000. Can you imagine this amount in Sri Lankan rupees? If I converted that one, I can't pronounce that amount in Sri Lankan rupees. It's coming to a huge amount. So, what is the gift? It's a GitHub Student Developer Pack. How many of you know or heard about this? Okay, it's another product for students around the world from GitHub Education. So in this pack, you will get 100 of products, 100 of premium products for free. So you can get .tech domains for free. You can follow some courses in front-end masters and Microsoft Azure. Let me go back, go to this URL. So copy link. Okay, Tarindu, that's a good thing. Thumbs up for you. You have already gained this developer pack. Okay, I have mentioned few on my slide. Here you can see 100 of products here. Canva, DigitalOcean, Namecheap. You can get any domain for 1 year free. And JetBrains products, you know how much cost JetBrains IDs are. You can get free. You can get it for free. And Microsoft Azure Cloud providing $100 for you. And some, and again another domain name providers, name.com, .tech domains, Heroku. You can use this platform as a service provider to deploy your university projects or your personal projects. And there are a lot of products here to highlight. And mail services, icon packages, Atom, and a text editor from GitHub, Arduino. uh, it's a long way to scroll, right? Believe me, this is more worth than the $25 GitHub t-shirts, because during our university projects, when we are building some API based projects, we have to deploy it on a productions, right? So as a students, it's difficult to spend some dollars for our deployment purpose. So I have utilized this GitHub student developer pack very well. So my Azure credits also almost finished. So don't wait, get it now. Okay, I brought a dedicated URL for you guys for this today's event. I'm sharing that one with this chat box, and I will also share with you, Naresh. So spread this one. This is a unique URL to get this developer pack using your university mail. I hope you have university mails, right? Oh, I sent it via direct message. Sorry, wait, everyone. Okay. Uh, do you guys having university's mail, right? How many of you don't have university mail? Naresh, you have
Yeah. Yeah.
campus, right?
We have university mail IDs.
Okay, if you don't have that one, talk to your management and get it done, because when I went for an event in Jaffna, they don't aware about the university mails. So I told them about this, and they have requested their management to ask them to provide university mails for all the students. So that's the only way to verify you are a student to GitHub, right? So else, if it is not a big university, you have to show some ID proofs of your institute to confirm you as a student, and get the product, make use of it, and thank me later. And where to go from here? So some of the tips that I'm going to give you all: explore more about GitHub. So this is not actually all that we practice today. As I promised you, I have to show a simple workflow that how you can productively work on GitHub. So from our in our FOSS community, we are building our FOSS community website using Angular. So this is the repository. It is public for everyone to contribute. So let's say here we have more than 15 contributors who have worked on this project. And as I told about this GitHub CI/CD, GitHub Actions. So we have even configured that one. If we make some changes to our this website source code, if it is an Angular project, we have to build that one, right? So we are not building it manually. Once we make some changes to this repository, it will be automatically built and deployed to this URL. And if we are following a issues based project management, as I told you, we don't give me a minute, we don't use Trello boards. Instead, what you can do here is you can use GitHub projects, RSVP team. Give me a minute. Sorry. Projects. Okay, split FOSS web. So here we are adding tasks. Here we are adding issues-based tasks. What to be there in to-do sections, what is in progress, what is in review, and what are the tasks that we have done. So it is easy to track our project in a simpler way. And if you create an issue on our repository, let's say if you want to assign some task, I can come here and create a new issue. Open a blank issue. Issue sample for USJ. So I can describe so what the tasks need to be done. Modify home page. So creating an issue. Then I can assign someone from our project team. I'm assigning our designer Bhavanta. I'm assigning this task to him, and I can put some labels. Help wanted, and projects I'm choosing Slate for Web. So right after I created a GitHub issue, our team will get notified in our Slack channel. See, as you can see, issues opened by Safnaj, issue sample for USJ. So this is the workflow that we are following to build our community website. So GitHub is not, as I said in earlier, GitHub is not only about a repository hosting provider. It's a complete ecosystem for developers, right? And second point here is practice, practice, again practice. So everything comes under come by practice, right? So as I see in the quiz, you have marked some wrong commands as well. That's true. That's acceptable, because since you most of you are beginners, it's difficult to understand and difficult to remember the commands on first day, right? So by practicing more, you will get familiar with this command, and you will be a master of this version control system. And try out GitHub Actions, which is a very cool feature from GitHub. And you can integrate your GitHub repository to any cloud platform that you are comfortable with. If you are comfortable with the AWS, or if you are using a Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure or Heroku, any cloud platform, you can connect your repository to your cloud provider, and you can write some scripts as the CI/CD pipeline. What need to be done when someone push, or what need to be done when someone merge a pull request. You can write a workflow, and you can do automated deployments to the cloud, and contribute to open source projects. um, it's not the time that you are spending on open source projects is not getting wasted. Most of them are thinking like, it's not a paid, we are not getting paid, so why we need to contribute to someone else's projects. You will get a lot of benefits, as I can promise that one. You will get a lot of connections, you will get a lot of opportunities to travel. And last year I got an opportunity to attend FOSS Summit in Singapore, which is completely sponsored by GitHub. uh, so I couldn't make it because of this pandemic, but these kind of opportunities also there by contributing to open source projects. And participate in Hacktoberfest 2021. For last year, for 2020, we have organized a collaborative event with GitHub community and Slate FOSS, as well as Suburban University. So we have provided awareness about Hacktoberfest and how to participate, how to contribute. So we have made Sri Lanka in the top list of contributors, top contributors list countries. So if you are not heard about this Hacktoberfest, I am announcing you to this. Try to participate on this year Hacktoberfest during this month of October. You will get some stickers and a t-shirt as a prize. You can check out the t-shirt that I went for last 3 years on my Instagram. um, it's not just only for t-shirts. You will get a lot of knowledge. You can learn new technologies as well. I have learned some new technologies by uh, contributing to open source projects. So it's a great opportunity. And another important point is get into Google Summer of Code. This is the very useful thing that you can achieve during your university life. How many of you heard about Google Summer of Code? Or is there any Google Summer of Code students? If you've not heard about this, put no, I will explain it a bit. Since we are running out of time, I can't explain everything in brief. So if you not heard about this GSOC, I will explain, or I can go to next point. Can I get at least one answer? Okay. Google Summer of Code is a competition by, it's not, yeah, okay, competitions by Google during the summer period in US. So in that time, it's a bit difficult for us to work on this open source project because our summer period is something different from US, right? So you have to find some open source organization which is accepted by Google team. So they will announce the organizations list before they start this Google Summer of Code competitions. So you can explore about that organizations, and you can choose organization that you are going to work with during the summer. And right after the competition begins, you have to give some proposal and what you have to initiate, what you want to contribute to that particular organizations. If they accept your um, request, you have to work on their project for your entire summer. It means like 2.5 months. So the prize money of the Google Summer of Code is Sri Lankan rupees 5.5 lakhs. It's a huge amount for us, right? As a students, it's a big amount. Some of my friends even covered their course fees at our campus during using this prize money. It's not limited to first, second, third. How many of you have able to finish your Google Summer of Code? Everyone will get 5.5 lakhs Sri Lankan rupees as prize money. That's the amount for last year. Maybe it can increase in this 2021. Again, keep contributing to the community. So as I say, University of Jaipur, you guys have started this FOSS community and doing some cool events. So contributing to your community, keep contributing, and sharing knowledge is very important and very useful if you are moving to industry. And yeah, I need a favor from you guys. I need some feedbacks about these sessions from you all. So you can scan this QR code, and you have to spend 2 minutes to fill a Google form. And I have also shared the link on the chat box. And it's time for the questions. If you have any questions, you can unmute and ask, or Naresh can help me on this.
Yeah, before that, I have to tell one thing. So I am putting our official mail ID in the chat box. So please, winners, contact us. Yeah, contact us as soon as possible with your identity. Yeah, that's fine. So host going to ask the questions. Yeah, Sajiran, host is going to ask the questions. Sorry, Safnaj. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, Safnaj.
So yeah, it was an amazing, interesting session, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. And I hope all of you had a good time with GitInit. I would like to announce the winners of the competition again. The winners are Chanika Sandruan and Kalina Madhushankar. Warm congratulations for the winners. Your smartest steps in your life will lead you to the destination you always dreamed of. We will be contacting the winners after the session to hand over their rewards. So now it's time to clear some of your doubts you gained during the session. Mr. Ahmed will be answering some questions raised by you. So Mr. Ahmed, shall we go to the Q&A session?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the first question for you is, can you explain about merge conflict?
Merge conflicts, right? Okay. Let's say if you are working on a group project, you have guys, multiple developers are working on a single project, and if you're not following a best practices such as creating separate branches for develop a particular feature, or separate branches for each developer, there will be some situations two developers can do changes on a same file and the same line of code. So when you're sending pull request to the main branch or main repository, GitHub will confused which one it should merge. So that is called conflict. So it will ask the repository owner or the pull request center to fix the conflicts and send the pull request again. So that is merge conflicts.
Okay, then the second question is, do we need to configure Git every time when we git add, commit, pull from our local machines?
Okay, you don't need to configure your account all the time. As I included in my slide, I haven't followed that step during my demo because I have already configured my account. Once you configure it, your account will be stored in sessions, in local sessions. So let me show you. Uh, Once you initiated a GitHub project, or once you cloned a GitHub project, if you show the hidden files, you can see a .git folder inside your repository. This will contains the history, the branch details, and the user details. So if you delete this one, you are in danger. So if you delete this one, you will lose your entire source code history and the branch details, everything. So don't delete this one. And yeah, you don't need to configure your what is called account credentials all the time to do push and pull operations.
Okay, then this third question is, after set the repository under an organization, all the members in that organization can collaborate for the project.
Can you repeat this?
Should I repeat it? Yeah. After set the repository under an organization, all the members in that organization can collaborate for that project.
Yeah, if it is a public organization, by default, everyone will have access to do push and pull operations to that repository, but you can restrict that one. Let's say if it is some big organizations like FOSS Asia, um, they have more than 7,000 members in their GitHub organizations. So in this kind of scenarios, they are limiting who can work on which projects. So there are some options to restrict that one.
Okay. Don't you have to log in first in Git Bash? This is not secured, right? What is the best practice?
I don't get this question. Can you repeat?
Yeah, don't you have to log in first in Git Bash? This is not secured, right? What is the best practice?
Yeah, that's similar to the first question, right? You have to when you're configuring your Git Bash, you are new to Git, you have to configure your, like as I included in my slide, you have to put your GitHub username and GitHub account email. So for the first time you are doing push operation, it will ask you to enter your passwords. So once you enter, it will be stored in the session. It is not like insecure. If you have multiple, like if you are working for a company on your personal laptop, you can even switch different accounts from your Git terminal. And one more thing I have to highlight, like um, uh, how many of you heard about VS Code? You don't need to always need you don't always need this terminal to track your changes. Uh, Once you, if you have installed the Git tool on your PC, uh, intelligent IDEs like Visual Studio Code and JetBrains products, those are very powerful JetBrains. Let me open the folder inside this GitHub. So as I show you guys, you could see the .git folder, right? So that folder will be detected by the Git extension from this VS Code. Let's say if I do some changes here and save this file, here you can see one is highlighted here, right? And here you can see what is the changes that I have made. And I can directly commit here and directly push. But this is the graphical user interface workflow. But most of the times I choose to do this operation from the terminal, because it's like something we type and perform to do something to do the updates, right? It's similar kind of different between the automatic and manual gear cars. So any other questions?
Yeah, if there are any more questions from audience, now you can unmute your mic and ask now. I think all the questions and answers, all the questions have been answered. So, and that's all for the Q&A session. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Safnaj, for the interesting Q&A session. I'm pretty sure he cleared up all the doubts, and well, that might be the end of the Git Init. Before we wind up the session, I thank all of you in behalf of Git Init team. It's been a pleasure to have all involved joining us today. I take this opportunity to convey our heartfelt thanks to the special guest speaker, Mr. Ahmed Safnaj, a GitHub campus expert, a speaker and open source enthusiast, a full stack developer. Last but not least, thank you so much for the lovely delegates who have registered with Git Init. Git Init wouldn't be a reality without the dedication and the effort made by Git Init team who worked hardly behind the scene. I'd love to convey my special thanks to all of you too. With that, we wrap up Git Init, organized by free and open source software community in University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Stay tuned for the next fabulous session curiously. We wind up the session now with the promise of bringing you the next event as soon as possible. And do not forget to give your feedback to the link we have provided in the chat. Even during the pandemic, you can create the best version of you. We need to be able to turn every negativity into positivity. It's all in your hand. A very good night, all of you. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.